Now we're going to go to the NFL. So right now it is 7:20. Okay. All right. All right. So we're ready to go. So the first game we're going to do is there we go. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Detroit Lions, as the Detroit Lions are a 12. If you have not picked Detroit, this is the right time to do that. Now, the Lions' remaining home games are against the Bills, Bears, and Vikings. So this will be like the last time they will be a slam dunk play this season. And there's a reason why they're big favorites, as it is really hard to imagine Detroit losing this game. The Jaguars have had bad luck this season, and now they will have Mac Jones at quarterback. And I don't even see this game being close. Now, last week, the Jaguars defense hold Minnesota offense to 12 points and no touchdowns, but I do not see that happening that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is going to do. So look for the Lions to beat the brakes out of the Jaguars defense. So take the Detroit Lions. Now there is a big game, and when I say big game, I mean like very, very big. Now, this one I recommend you not touching. That is the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that game is in Pittsburgh. As you're seeing right now, Baltimore is favored by 3. Pittsburgh has won 7. The last 10 games, they are 7-3. They're 7-3. Now, the Ravens are better on both sides of the ball. Mike Tomlin usually found a way to get the job done. Baltimore still have 7 games left when they will be big favorites. So even though they may win, you have better options this week. So don't touch that game. Don't touch that game. Next one we have is the Vikings. Where are they at? Okay, here we go. Next one we have is the Minnesota Vikings and the Tennessee Titans, as the Vikings are a 6.5 favorite. Now, the Vikings defense carried Minnesota to a Week 10 victory, despite the offense being held out of the end zone. The Titans have one of the worst offense in the entire NFL, and they will be held to single digit against the Vikings. Now, Will Levis is going up Brian Flores' blitz defense, as he's taken 50 sacks in 15 games over the last 2 seasons. He's going over 200 passing yards just once this season. Excuse me. Just once this season, and was just sacked 7 times last week by the Chargers in his first game in about a month. So take the Minnesota Vikings. Number 4, we have the Las Vegas Raiders and the Miami Dolphins, as the Dolphins are a 6.5 favorite, as you can see. Now, the Dolphins have been inconsistent this season, but after their game against the Rams, which they won, you can pick them this week. Tua has shown that Miami isn't quite dead yet, and they have no choice but to beat the Raiders this week. So the offense is just waiting for their chance to explode, and a vulnerable Raiders defense will be little resistance. Now, the Dolphins has 3 losses recently by 10 combined points around the road wins against the Patriots and Rams. Gardner Minshew will remain the Raiders quarterback, as they actually entered going with recently signed Desmond Riddler, because things are so dire at this position, as the Raiders have given up at least 27 points in 4 of the last 5 games. Take the Minnesota Vikings. Then another game I will recommend you avoiding, that is the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Now, this one, I already picked the Bears, so I ain't got to worry about that. But I would recommend you not touching that game, as the Chicago Bears, they did fire their offensive coordinator after that abysmal game against the Patriots, which I got wrong last week. So right now, Bears stink right now. I won't even touch them. And this is like one of the historic rivalries, by the way. Now, with their record, Bears are 4-5. So we don't know what type of Bears offense we're going to see. So if they win, they'll be 5-5, and Green Bay will be 6-4. And then you also got to think about Green Bay's situation as they're trying to get in the NFC, trying to lead the NFC North. But right now, it's Detroit Lions division to claim. Then we have the last but not least. There's another game I would recommend you avoiding. That is the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chargers. That game, that game was flex. That game was flex. I think that was an afternoon. I think that was an early afternoon game, and then they moved it to Sunday Night Football because originally that was supposed to be a New York Jets game on Sunday Night Football, but since the Jets suck, what's the point of even watching it? That, yeah, the Jets stink, and more likely they won't make it to the playoffs. Now, desperate Bengal team has shown time and time again they will pull through when they need the most. Chargers defense is overlapped after they shut down the bottom feeders, and they will be in for a shock when Joe Burrow sheds them to pieces on Sunday night. So there you have it. So there you have it. And 4 minutes before 7:30. So at least I did well. All right. So we're gonna stop that screen. Okay, there we go. So that is my survivor picks for college football and the NFL. And before I close this out, I want to say you can follow me on social media on Instagram, X, also known as Twitter, TikTok, and Threads at 586 Sports S. And you can also do the same thing at 586 Sports on Instagram, X, also known as Twitter, TikTok, Threads, also on LinkedIn. You can also follow 586 Sports on LinkedIn. Okay. And if you have not checked the college football playoff video I did yesterday, I would recommend you doing so. I did that yesterday as well. All right. So you guys have a nice and wonderful evening, and I will see you next week. Take care.